Violet Winds, Fluttershy, A True Love by Swedish Diablo. Ever since Violet Winds had moved to Ponyville a year ago, he has been quite alone. Even he has many great friends in Ponyville. He has been dating a few mares over time, but so far none of them hasn't been the right one for him. But there are only one mare that he is in love with, or at least interested, and that is Fluttershy. He knows that Fluttershy is very shy, and he don't know if she even likes him back at the same way. But he wants to tell her how much he likes her. So even he tried to talk to her in person, but he often talks about something else, or because he doesn't know how to say the right words, like "I love you, Fluttershy," but often he wants to try to tell her. He always sends something else rather than that he likes her, which bothers him. How can he telling her something that he wants to tell her? The only ponies he has been telling about is Twilight, Rarity, and Applejack, and all of them have said to listen his heart and try to find the right moment to tell Fluttershy how he likes her. But he told them every time he tried to talk to her, he'd said something else, but then something that is not relevant to how much he feels for her. And then he said to them that he almost given up the hope to tell Fluttershy how he likes her. But then he came out with the more correct right way to do it. He wrote her a letter, but signed Secret Admirer to meet Secret Admirer at the park at 2 p.m. at the fountain. He was going to wait there at the fountain with some flowers and try to tell her right then. At 2 p.m., Fluttershy showed up at the park at the fountain. At first, she couldn't see any other ponies nearby, so she wonders is this a prank from Rainbow, or is it really from a secret admirer? But she didn't know who it could be, and who liked her. She started wondering, could it be Big Mac? Or could it be some other stallions in town? But she couldn't even realize who until she heard a voice. "Hey, Fluttershy!" And she jumped up in the air and fell on the ground and tried to take cover. Then she saw it was Violet Winds. "Oh, it is you, Violet. What brings you here?" "Well, it is because of that letter you got." "My letter?" Then she realized, "Are you my secret admirer?" "Yeah." And then he showed the flowers. He explained to her exactly why, that he has tried to tell her many times, but often tell something else rather than that how much he feels for her. Then he said, "I understand, Fluttershy, if you don't like me the same way back. I understand." And just before he can even walk away, he said, "Wait! Is that true? You really love me so much?" "Yeah, it is true," said Violet Winds. And Fluttershy was stunned. She didn't know exactly what to say except, "Well, I like you too." "You do?" "Yeah." And then he asked, "Would you like to maybe go out with me right now?" And she started to blush and said, "Yes." And then he took out to a local restaurant nearby. And at first, the both was a little bit felt a little bit awkward how to say to break the ice. Violet Winds then told exactly how he started feelings for her about this, and he told some jokes to break this more ice and more to break this awkwardness. And after a while, it started to get more comfortable between them. Then she started laughs about his jokes, and she tried to explain how that he that she likes him as well so much. And after almost an hour, they both had pretty much fun together. And even Violet wins and then asks Fluttershy if she would like to go out with him again. And and, and she said yes. So they decided to go out maybe a few days from now. And during those 2 days when they haven't seen each other, Violet worked at the local restaurant that he works for part-time. Then he works as part-time as musician with Octavia and her friends. But then the day came, and it was very much a great time because this time he took her to the park for a picnic. It was a very great day because it was a very nice weather. But then something else happened with the next few days. Violet Winds and Fluttershy has been talking to be going out at this to take eating lunch together. But then she saw him at the restaurant talking to another mare sitting next to him, and they were laughing. And she thought that he was cheating on him or her about another mare. She started to cry, but first she thought this was not a friend or something else was going to happen. But then he touched her hoof and smiled and laughed even more. Then she thought he didn't love her at all. She thought that he was using her to get some attention from other mares. So she started to cry and she flew away. But then Violet Winds saw her flying away. She thought, at least she thought it was her, but he didn't say exactly because she was gone by the at most. He saw someone was flying away, but he didn't see if it was her or something else, someone else. After the other mare had left, he waited and waited and waited for him for Fluttershy to turn up, but she didn't show up. He started wondering, she's been late? So he checked the watch on the wall, and she has been 30 minutes late. He wonders, has something else happened to her? So he paid the check, the bill, and went to Fluttershy's cottage to ask her why she was late. But she didn't open the door. He heard us crying inside, and he tried to ask her why he was never open the door. But she didn't answer or open the door. Then he realized something was wrong. Then he tried again and again, but still no answer. So he decided to leave her be alone so she could at least calm down. But every time he saw her at the market or in town, she often flew away so fast. So she flew away before he even could talk to her. Or she even said to her friends that she was busy and that she didn't want to talk to him for a moment. Then he decided to talk to her directly. So he flew to her cottage another week later, and then he asked her, Fluttershy, why didn't you show up at the restaurant? I was waiting for you. But she was still heartbroken what happened. I showed up, but then I saw you another mare, holding her hoof, laughing and smiling. But I know you've only dated me for the attention for the mares. No. You don't understand. the mayor, was actually a friend of mine. She was near here. She was here in town for a visit. She was planning to move here with her husband and their 2 children. I haven't seen them for at least her for some number of years. I just saw her at walking through town when I saw her, yelling at her, waving her, and she saw me and she sat down and we talked. I even talked to her for a number of years. She was only a friend of mine. I was never cheating on you, Fluttershy. Never. Is that true, Violet? Yes, it is true. She was a friend of mine, and she is married, and she is happy married. But I understand if you don't believe me, Fluttershy. Believe me, I do. And then, before she can say anything, he was gone. Violet Winds had left her college and returned back home. And just before then, he didn't went out on his road, leave his house for the next couple of days. Only time we went to practice for it with Octavia or they went to his restaurant, but in that he didn't leave. He went always back to the market to buy the food or went home. But one day he gets a knock on the door. He opens and it was Fluttershy. She said that she was sorry that he thought that he was cheating on her. And he said that he was sorry because he made her to believe that. And she accepted the apology. Then he asked her if you'd like to go out for taking some a walk or maybe to take some ice cream or something. And she just smiled and said yes. So they went to the local restaurant, the local store, and bought some ice cream. But for most of the time that they had been together, Violet Winds had never been so happy with Fluttershy. And sometimes he told her that he was going back to Manhattan to see his parents for just a couple of days, because they haven't seen them so much recently. And especially when his mother was sick from the flu, and then that his father had to take care of her, and then he also got sick by his flu, so he had to be there to take care of them both. And Fluttershy just wished him happy that he would be back home soon, and he said he would. But also, after his parents was back to health again, he visited a local jewelry store and bought an engagement ring. At there, he was planning to propose to Fluttershy right when he came back home. He told about his parents about this, and they were proud and happy that he was going to do it with the right mare that he loved so much. And then, while he was back home, he didn't propose to her, not right away. He wanted to wait for the right moment. So the next 2 days later, he did it at the park. And she was so overwhelmed by this excitement and happiness, she said yes and started to cry. And even the friends was told about this later, and they overwhelming us over so much excitement. Even Fluttershy's parents and his brother, they were always overwhelmed so much that they didn't know what to say except, "I'm so proud of you, Fluttershy," said her mother. And her father and her brother said, "Welcome to the family, Violet Winds, welcome to the family." And the wedding was actually held in Ponyville for next couple of weeks later. And at the wedding, Fluttershy had asked Rarity to be her bridesmaid, and they had even asked Discord to be Violet Winds' best man, which he accepted. And even Discord, he was so proud that Twilight Fluttershy to be married with true love. And as a surprise to her, he even made fireworks during the wedding and the party afterwards. And the party, it was a big one. It was probably one of the biggest of the year in Ponyville for at least one of well, one of the biggest of the year. And they even celebrated their honeymoon on a tropical resort for at least 2 weeks. And barely 2 years later, Fluttershy told Violet Winds that he was going to be a father to a baby soon. And he was so excited to be a father, and these feelings to be a parent, they made so overwhelming into him. But he was there prepared for the baby to arrive. And it was a son they had. But 4 years later, Fluttershy told Violet Winds that she was pregnant again, and she was waiting a daughter this time. And he was more happy to be a parent again. Even Fluttershy and Violet Winds that were so happy to have this family together, and they could never be more proud to be married with their true love. The end.